Ooh, good morning.
Rachel coming in with the lettuce starts. Love it.
Always.
Well, look at the cute background you guys have. So cute, the graphics.
So let's kick off the annual meeting. Thank you everybody for being here so much. Thank you also for accommodating our rescheduling. Really appreciate it personally and glad to have everybody here in the first week of May. Welcome. If it's your first time here, we are going through our usual housekeeping. You're welcome to keep your video off, be off camera. We're very introvert friendly here at OFMA. We want you to be engaged in whatever way is most comfortable for you. We do ask that you mute your microphones, please, and I'll likely mute mine. I have a lot of background noise going on today. We will have designated question and answer time, but in the meantime, feel free to utilize the chat feature to pop your questions in there, and we'll circle back and come to them as many questions as we can answer throughout. We're recording this. You should have seen that when you logged in and clicked OK, but just so everyone knows, we're recording it and it will be available for public viewing after the meeting is over on our YouTube channel. If you don't follow us there, follow us there. And yeah, just let Madeline know if you're having any technical difficulties throughout the day. Go ahead and use the chat feature to do that as well. And we're just glad to have everyone here. Quick little agenda. We're going to do a nice long breakout introduction today. We're going to cover some OFMA business, do our board elections like we always do at our annual meeting, go over some committee reviews, do some committee recruitment because we would love to have more folks join our committees. Then we have a couple of guest speakers for y'all today bringing really important information that you'll need for your markets. And then we're going to go over some just programming and what's new with us at OFMA. Yeah, and we should be pretty quick and fast. Maybe we'll get done early today. Who knows? And our first breakout rooms, this is just really heavily geared towards strategic planning. OFMA is currently working on our strategic plan. We love a good strategic plan for obvious reasons, but we also know they take a lot of work. They take a lot of time. They take a lot of voices. And so we just want to get everyone talking about this, get it on your minds. We also want to kind of incorporate you into our strategic planning and hear what you want more from OFMA and what you'd like to see incorporated into our new strategic plan moving forward. So we have these questions for y'all. We're going to group you into breakout rooms, and we're going to have about 20 minutes to talk, and we'll come back and we'll do a couple polls and just go through that really quickly. And as we go into breakout rooms, if you get put in the wrong room, you're in your room by yourself or anything, just pop back into the main room and let Madeline know. We'll get everybody squared away. So we'll
I did want to mention also that we have arranged the breakout rooms, or at least I tried to arrange them by region. So you should be hopefully grouped with folks who have markets in the same area as yours. Depending on how many folks actually showed up, I might have to rearrange you, but just to let you know. So that might be a nice way to get to know each other better and connect with the markets near you. So I'm going to go ahead and put us into those breakout rooms now.
Hello. It's so funny to see everyone just disappear.
Okay, there's some folks, so I don't have time to make decisions. I'm just going to drop you all into rooms that are lower attendance. So those of you in the lobby, you're being sent away now.
Bye.
Okay.
So it looks like Kendra, Rose, Rachel, Eileen, and
I sent them all except for Rose. I'm sending you to a Portland group. Have fun. Okay, they should all be getting invitations to leave now.
Perfect. Thanks, Madeline. And some people, if they don't click on the join the breakout row, there we go.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Looks like everyone's in one.
And we can pause the recording here.
Yes, I can.
You guys hear that talking in the background?
No,
Thanks.
no, everything.
Madeline, let me know when everybody's back in.
Here they come.
Perfect. Can't see everyone all at once. I have to click through everyone. Hopefully everybody had some good conversations in there. Maybe met someone they hadn't met before and hopefully saw some familiar faces. I'm curious to hear what the conversations were. We have a poll, but does anybody want to share about their breakout conversation? Don't everyone jump at once either. We can also hop straight into the poll.
Can't get out of mute.
I just want to say I was in the Eastern Oregon group and I was very impressed that we got through all 4 questions in that time period.
Yay, I'm glad there was enough time. I know, I think
Yeah.
we've gotten feedback that we've not left enough time during breakout conversations, so that's great. Oh, thanks, Olivia. You talked about your boards. Sure. Very important, those board of directors. Madeline's going to launch a poll here, and I see, Equally, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I just, one thing that just popped into my head at the end of our conversation was that I'd be curious, I don't know, maybe it's poll worthy, like how many markets have boards versus how many, collaborate with other, maybe they're multiple employees, or how many are just single people running markets, because I don't do strategic planning because it's just me. And I never thought about this before, but it might be really nice to hear, what strategic plans are for, like, if OFMA had like sort of a guiding principle, or if we all had some kind of idea as to what our general direction was, or if OFMA gave some guidelines for general directions of farmers markets, so that I could have some other people to bounce off of, being someone who works the market kind of alone. So just let's put that out there.
That's wonderful. I bet that we have information in our census about the number of markets that have boards. If not, it is a great question to start to include. My sense is that it's a large majority of them. I think it's amazing that you're operating that market by yourself. That's new information to me. I thought that you had a board. That's amazing. That's a big market. Yeah, and we do have a lot of guiding documents and principles around mission, especially. And I think that is something really critical in talking about strategic planning, is how to achieve your mission and how to put that down into a document. And I will say, equally, it sounds like you're constantly strategically planning. So I wouldn't say that you haven't done that. Equally is at OHSU. And how many vendors do you guys have?
I think we're gonna have about 29 each week this year.
That's a big market.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, let's launch this poll, Madeline, whenever you're ready. And so our first question, and I think that you can scroll through these, or will we skip ahead?
Sorry, we're having a delay in getting it launched, but there's one. The first one, I believe, is the one where you pick one answer, and then the second one about resources, you can pick multiple answers.
Perfect. And these are anonymous, so feel free to answer freely. The first one is, do you incorporate a strategic plan into your work? So we do have a little poll for that here, and go ahead and pop your answer in there and hit submit. And raise your hand either in the chat or just vocally if the poll is not showing up for you.
I haven't seen the second poll come through yet.
I think it's just the first question until Madeline closes this one out. So I think we'll give everyone a chance to answer, and it usually gives us a little how many people have answered. So I'm guessing we're waiting until everyone's answered.
Only had about 25 people responding, but maybe some people just don't feel like responding. I could skip to the next one. Let me know when you want the next poll, Ashley.
Yeah. Raise your hand if you're still, Tasia doesn't see the poll.
it might be, you might have to
In a pop-up window.
Mhm.
pop-up window. It might be under one of the other windows you might have up on your screen right now, or you might need to go into the menu at the bottom of your screen to make it come up.
Yeah, if you go to the bottom of your screen and click the three little dots that say more, there should be an option for polls. And if you click on that, it should come up, even if it is hidden beneath other things.
And then we'll give it one more minute and we can skip to the next one. And if we miss it, I think we'll still have great responses. And if folks want to offer their feedback after, feel free to send it to Madeline. We can send you the full question answer options too, if you miss it. Thanks, Bill. All right, Madeline, do you want to move to the next one? Oh, thanks, Tasia. Glad you got it. Thanks for the tech support, Rachel. So great. So, hey, look at us. 36% have a strategic plan and 50% of those incorporate it into your work. Way to go, everyone. No wonder markets are doing so well right now. That's fantastic. We'll share this all after the meeting as well. And I love the I'm not sure answers, because that's a really valid answer. And I think it's one that comes up a lot, especially if you're on the board of directors for a market, is, do we have a strategic plan? I'm not sure. What is it like? So it's good to talk about and bring up. And then the next poll is what OFMA resources do you want more of? And you can pick 2 to 3 here. It's multiple choice. And it looks like there's an untitled question at the bottom. I'm not sure if that's intentional. But it gives you lots of options, and just go ahead and answer freely. This is like, I'm very curious about this. Of course, we have conversations with you all throughout the year and have a sense of what you're looking for more from us. And yeah, I just wondering what officially the responses are. And Madeline, let me know when I can't see how many people have answered. So just
12 people.
we'll give folks a little more time. We could have like Jeopardy music, final answer going right now. Bill, did you have a question?
No,
Okay.
I don't think.
I'm doing the second one, and on it has 2 questions, and the second question just says untitled question, choose 1 or 2.
I think that's just a mistake. You can ignore
Yeah.
that second question.
Ignore that one.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Okay, because I was like, is there more to it and I'm missing that? Okay.
You do have to answer it to submit, though.
Oh, okay.
I'm having trouble submitting. I checked it, but it won't submit.
There we go.
Sorry.
Mine finally went through after on the second question. I put choice 1, like OFMA's number 1, and it let me go through it. So
Choice 1. Okay, now I can submit, huh? Whatever. There we go. It went through.
Thanks, everybody.
Great. And Amanda, do you have hosting? Did you see that Madeline just lost power?
Oh, okay. I didn't see that. Yes. All right.
So you might skip to the next question while she's trying to get back on.
Okay.
Fun timing.
Okay.
And thank you, Anna, for the other option there too. Oh, great. You guys want more resources all around. Wonderful. That is good to know. I feel like that is actually great, because it means that our resources are useful. And workshops is really high. Fantastic. Advocacy coming in last. Great info to have. Thank you, everybody, for answering. That's fantastic. We're going to save these questions. We're going to incorporate them with our board's planning of our strategic plan as well. And then we'll hopefully move on to the next question.
There was only 2.
Only 2. That was great. Perfect. We're all done. Our polls are closed. Thank you, everybody, so much. And Amanda, are you able to get the slides back up?
We'll see.
We'll
Okay.
see. Thanks everybody for bearing with us. Madeline's power went out. She texted. So we'll see. If she doesn't get her power back on, she will not have Wi-Fi. So we'll try to just bear with us as we go through. Next up, although I can't share because I'm not the host, I can't even share the slides. So we'll wait for Amanda to get the slides popped back up, if that's possible.
Okay. Sorry, you guys, just a second.
Take your time. I feel like it's a complicated thing to pull that up. So
do you all see the slide that says OFMA business and somebody
it says it's loading on my screen.
loading?
Loading.
Loading.
Let me try one more time. Thanks.
While Amanda's doing that, I can talk through. We're just going to go through a quick finance review. Then we'll do our board elections. Rachel will lead us through that. It's our standard. We have a slate. They've gone through board review and onboarding. And so we just will put the slate open for unanimous election. Then committee highlights. Our board will tell you, what committees we have open. We really encourage everyone to learn more about that. And if you're interested, speak up and join in. We can always use more members on our committees. And of course, we'll touch on board recruitment. Our board has some great openings right now. It's a wonderful way to use your experience and your expertise to really give back to the community. It's 1 to 2 or maybe 2 to 4 hours a month, depending on the season of the year, of a role. And we just would love if you guys are interested to let us know, and our board will give the full spiel there when we get up to it. But yeah, thanks Amanda for getting those up.
Great.
Nothing like tech troubleshooting on the fly. So our financial review this year, our fiscal year goes from October to September. That is to line up with the federal government, who is our largest funder. And you can see that our revenue has been growing substantially. I think what's really cool is that because our revenue comes by a reimbursement method from the USDA, so wonderful. It often means that at the end of our year, we end in the red because we haven't been reimbursed for the expenses that have happened. And I think it's amazing that OFMA has been stable enough to keep going, even though that's been our financial position. But you can see we've grown so much, especially over the last 2 years, getting into our new FMPP grant. And you can see that we tipped the scales in 21 from having our revenue outweigh our expenses. And that is a continuing trend that we hope will just keep going. So it's really wonderful. Thank you everyone who has helped with those FMPP grants and just helping to stabilize OFMA's revenue. And then we can go to the next one. How this revenue comes in this year, we really have diversified quite a bit in our last year. And you can see our membership dues are a nice chunk. So thank you everyone, foundation revenue, and then our FMPP grant from last year. And we ended with a net of 12,000. We can go to the next, how we spent that. And so it's mostly personnel and wages. We have 3 staff members here working on all of our resources. We are a small and mighty team. I'm half-time, Madeline's half-time, and Amanda's 3/4 time. So we're a really small team, and I think we do a lot. And then we have contractual experts that we bring on board. Some of you here have helped us in that capacity as well. So thank you. We try to bring as many experts in to support you all throughout the year as possible. Research and evaluation, a really important aspect of our work. And you can see that it shows up here in our expenses as well. Getting that data to you guys with your help, of course. It's really important just to show our community what impact farmers markets have. And I think that we have first of its kind in the nation data to show for that. And I think that's so fantastic. And under Amanda's leadership, that has grown and just a really, really valuable resource that we have and provide. And we can go to next. Thanks, Amanda, for filling in here. Oh, what is green expenditures? The little tiny other is other. It's little things that don't fall under under admin. So it would be like an iPad pencil is what I believe that actually is, that tiny green slide. Thanks for the question, Rachel or Rebecca. And then this is our budget for this year. So it looks quite different. We're budgeting for almost a double of our net income, which is great. That money just goes into unrestricted funding and gives us more flexibility for the coming year to offer more resources and provide more support to y'all. And you can see we've got personnel still a large chunk, but not quite as big as it was. And our research and evaluation really growing a lot in this second year. And that just shows how much we're investing in getting data to everyone and out into the community about the impact for farmers markets. And one thing I didn't put on the slide, but should have, we are about 70% to our revenue currently in the fiscal year and 60% to our expenses. So actually trending ahead in revenue and behind in expenses, not the worst position to be in. And we can go to the next one.
Oh, hey, Ashley, it looks,
We're
so
missing
I just
numbers.
want to let people know that it looks like Madeline is not going to be able to make it back on. So please there's a lot of screens to look at now. And like we're missing one person. So like we may not see everything that's going on in the chat anymore. Like, so we'll do our best. But one of the things that was in the chat, Ashley, is that Alice was letting us know that she has to leave right at 10:30 and she was hoping she could. So if we could have her break in to talk about her committee, maybe we should.
Absolutely. Yep. I think that this is it. And we are missing a big number in expenses. Thanks, folks. We edited these last minute. The pandemic affected OFMA's expenses. I would say, Amanda, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that we didn't spend any money on travel and we actually had a large amount in our travel, and then our meetings moved to virtually. So I think that it actually made our expenses go down. I mean, on paper, that's what it looks like, and shifted things around. And also in our revenue side, we got quite a bit of COVID relief funds from different areas. And I think so that helped our revenue go up a bit. And then do we want to skip to the next one?
Okay, but do you want to let Alice go?
Yeah, but I was thinking Alice had like 13 more minutes.
Oh, she's
How about we switch it over to the committee updates and we can start with policy for Alice and then we can do board elections after the committee update.
Wonderful.
I think policy is the last slide of that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hi, everybody. I'm so sorry to rearrange the meeting based on my schedule. My name is Alice Morrison. I am the board secretary of OFMA and the convener of the policy committee. I've been with the OFMA board for almost 6 years now. And wait, is that true? Yes, 5 years. Well, I joined in the fall of 2018 and was officially voted on at the annual meeting of 2019. So 5-ish years, 4 years, whatever. I'm in my second term and I'm so happy to be here. In my other life, my professional life, I'm the co-executive director of Friends of Family Farmers, and I am their lead policy person, which makes it a normal and logical thing that I'm also involved with policy here at OFMA. When I started on the OFMA board, I was managing the Veneta Farmers Market and also a vendor at a couple other markets, and farmers markets have always been really near and dear to my heart. And I've seen firsthand how policies, especially around, food safety and licensing and things like that, can impact the everyday, operations of your market and make it either easier or harder for you to serve your community. So the policy committee here at OFMA We haven't been asked to weigh in on a whole lot in the past, but since the ramp up of the Double Up Food Bucks campaign in the last few sessions, as well as the work we did as an organization under Kelly Crane to be designated as essential businesses during the pandemic, we've been asked to weigh in on a lot more recently, and we get more requests to talk about how OFMA and the farmers markets we serve fit into policy across the state. So on the policy committee, we talk about policy proposals that are out there, recommend positions that we should take on them, discuss staff capacity with the staff about what kind of commitment they want to make to these campaigns, and figure out where OFMA stands. Most of that has been on policy that directly impacts farmers markets like Double Up Food Bucks, and also sometimes in the policy creation side. I think you all remember taking my survey about the Farm Direct enhancements that are in the legislature right now, way back in the fall when we were still developing that. Amanda helped us put that out through one of the peer learning circles, and your responses helped craft that piece of legislation. So thank you so much. And the policy committee for the board is a great way to get involved. If you have heard of anything in the state legislature or the Farm Bill, we haven't really talked about the Farm Bill, but it's happening, so we might have to, that you think is either a threat or an opportunity to your market, we would love to hear from you. We're currently accepting non-board member volunteers to join the committee. It's a great way to get involved with the wider world of food systems, if that's an interest of yours. And we meet monthly, and I will put my email address in the chat and you can reach out to me, and I would love to add you to the list. Thank you all so much. I have to go to a legislator meeting now, so they don't let me decide my schedule. So thank you all so much for your patience.
Thanks, Alice. Then we can.
I was gonna say, Amanda, we could actually just run through.
Now,
Yeah. Well, I guess we can start with DEI committee and then we'll bounce back to board at the end. I think Rose was going to give an update on the DEI committee.
Yes, hi everyone. My name is Rose. I use she, her pronouns. I'm an OFMA board member, committee member, and in my daily life, I am work for the Oregon Food Bank. I'm part of the DEI committee, and we're a group of folks who get together once a month, every second Monday from 5:30 to 7 to talk about OFMA's work and how we can be DEI focused, really lead with anti-racism work and create workshops and trainings for farmers markets to incorporate and act on equity and racial justice. We would really love to see people from all over Oregon participate in this to help drive this work. I'm going to put a few of our driving questions in the chat. These are questions that we as a board constantly connect with through our board meetings, through our committees, and through our work to make sure that we are leading with racial justice, but also incorporating gender, cultural, and geographical equity. We'd love to see folks helping us guide this work and helping to keep OFMA accountable to this work. So if you're interested, please reach out to the board and we're happy to get you involved in that meeting. The next one is on the 8th, this coming Monday.
Thanks, Rose. I think we have
Anna was going to talk. Anna was going to talk about membership, right?
Yeah, there I am. Hi, everyone. My name's Anna. I'm hopefully an incoming board member to OFMA, and also serve on the membership committee, which is ad hoc at this point in terms of coalescing around major initiatives and projects. The one which most people may be familiar with is our membership drive that happens early in the year annually. And it's a great opportunity to connect one-on-one with different markets around the state. I personally enjoy this committee for that reason. It's really nice to be a sounding board for member markets and to be an available resource to find out how OFMA is serving our members, recognizing that it's a real diverse community, a real diverse state. Every market's got different needs, unique needs for their communities. And so it's the curiosity and learning process around how markets are functioning in their communities is really interesting to me. And if that's interesting to you, could be an opportunity for you to sit in on a membership committee meeting or just chat with me about what we do throughout the year. The other place that we provide support is in promoting and outreach around National Farmers Market Week, which I think Darcy is going to talk more about. And Alice had a good suggestion for email in the chat. So I'm happy to put that there. And if anybody has questions or wants to know more, please reach out to me.
And then Darcy.
A great transition. Thanks, Anna. So I'm Darcy Spar, she, her pronouns, and I chair the fundraising committee, which I would say, although fundraising is the main focus of our title, there's not a separate committee that works on marketing or communications or outreach. So we really do kind of all of that stuff. And we have absolutely very expert and wonderful staff working on all of that stuff too. So the committee is really to enhance and expand their work. So we work on all of that stuff, on really making sure that we're getting the word out to the community about what OFMA does, what farmers markets do, how important farmers markets are to our communities. A couple of things that we work on during the year, and we would love assistance and help from folks. So if you're interested in joining the committee, I think I can also put my email, or you can email OFMA, but we work on a stewardship report. So putting together a very nicely packaged, here's what OFMA has done over the past year. Here's all of the great stuff that we have gathered about farmers markets through the census and our other work. And then also, as Anna mentioned, we have a piece of working on Farmers Market Week. We do what we have called the friend raising and awareness campaign. So taking advantage of this week of excitement about farmers markets to really do lots of different activities, social media pushes with our networks, visiting farmers markets. So lots of work to try to activate our networks and our contacts to learn about OFMA and farmers markets. Thanks.
All right. And then I think we might have to go, back through to board elections. We're really testing your ability to jump around, Amanda. Thank you. Hi, everybody. I'm Rachel Ward. I'm the board president of OFMA. I am also the new executive director of Farmers Market Fund. So great to see all your lovely faces. And if we haven't had a chance to connect, I'm sure that we will soon. But I want to facilitate our board elections. So we have 3 new board members this year, Rose, Lee, and Anna. And then I am actually up for a second term of elections. So wanted to put it out there to the group if there are any members who would like to make a motion to set the slate of board members.
I'll make a motion, this is Bill, that unless there's others that wish to be added to it, that we accept the slate of board membership by unanimous consent.
Thank you, Bill. Do we have a second of that motion?
I second the motion.
Thank you, Kendra. And then any discussion or questions around this slate? All right, we can vote. Everyone who is in favor of electing this slate of new board members and returning board members, you can say aye or thumbs up or yes in the chat or vocally.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Got it. See lots of yeses. Any opposed? You can say nay or thumbs down or no. All right, I see no opposition, so the motion passes. Thank you for electing our new slate of board members. And I will just put a quick plug in there for folks who are interested in becoming OFMA board members. We are we had a lot of great board members roll off their terms this year and last year. And so we're really looking for some fresh energy and fresh perspective on the board. So if you are interested in joining OFMA board or just want to talk more about it, you're welcome to reach out to me. I'll put my email in the chat, and then I'm also going to link the page on OFMA's website where you can learn more about the board and also fill out our application if you're interested. Thank you all.
Yay. Thank you, everyone. Yes, we love our OFMA board. They're a great group. And if you want to join them, they're a lot of fun to spend time with. So definitely speak up. Thank you so much, Rachel, for taking us through that. Rose, Darcy, Alice, even though you're not here to thank you. And next up, we have our guest speakers. Everyone should be familiar with Katie, who's up first from OHA. Katie plays a really critical role here in Oregon in getting our markets signed up for SNAP benefits, and we're glad to have her here, and she's going to share more.
Hi, everyone. Let me get my camera on here. There we go. Hello, good morning, and thanks for having me, OFMA. I'm happy to be here to talk to you more about the Farm Direct Nutrition Program. We've got some exciting changes coming up this season. For those of you who are less familiar, we issue benefits to lower income seniors and WIC families to purchase fresh produce at your farmers markets and farm stands around the state. It's a federal nutrition program administered by the state, and we do receive federal and state funding to operate the program. Next slide, please. And before we jump into the fun new stuff for this coming season, this is just a peek at what happened last season. So we had 1.8 million redeemed by our participants and paid to local farms for their fresh produce. This was our biggest year yet, which is pretty exciting. As far as participants, we issued to just over 50,000 WIC participants and nearly 59,000 seniors, and we are hoping to issue to even more this season. So really hoping that we can break that $2 million mark for 2023. Next slide. And here's the big news. So hopefully you've seen this before, but our new voucher, we've been using these green checks for the last many years. And we're moving to what we're hoping is a more user-friendly, more colorful voucher for participants. I have here in my hand some test vouchers we printed. So they're going to be issued to participants in these little tear pad booklets. So it comes with a little cover page here with some instructions on how to use on the back side, followed by all the vouchers themselves. And on the back side of the vouchers, which you can see on the screen here too, we have the allowable food instructions in our 7 top languages that we translate into. And I'll say this a lot of times on the call, but these transactions at your markets will look exactly the same with these vouchers as they did with the checks. So participants will go pick out their lovely fruits and vegetables, pay with these, transactions over, they leave. So as far as farmers and how they process them to get paid, which I'll be going over here in a minute, that doesn't happen at the time of the sale. Next slide, please. So a little walk through our program and some of our timing. So for our WIC participants, they get their vouchers through their local WIC clinics. Those are issued May through September. The local clinics got their vouchers this week, and then they have through September 30th to issue them. $28 per person in the household who is eligible, and that's a one-time issuance for the season. For our seniors, we do everything by mail, and the bulk of those will be out by mid-June. Depending on how many seniors we have this year, we may do a second mailing that goes out in July. And again, a one-time issuance for the season, and our seniors get $32 per person in the household. Next slide. And then our shopping season is June 1st through November 30th. So that's when all the purchases can be made at your farmers markets and farm stands, and they are spent directly with the farms at their booths. So you as market staff and managers, you're likely getting a lot of the questions from participants. You might even get some questions from farmers, but you will not be transacting the vouchers at all or reimbursing farmers for that. We do that all directly in communication through the state and the farms. Next slide. And our biggest change here being, oh, back one more. There we go. Being how our farmers are getting paid. So previously, the old green checks were taken to the bank and deposited, which had some convenience with that, but also some hassles. So with this new voucher, they will process them through our secure online website portal. They can either scan the barcode with a smart device or manually enter the vouchers if they don't have the scanning capabilities. And then they will be paid by direct deposit. Again, pointing out that this does not have to happen. This processing of the voucher does not have to happen at the market. They can do it later. If they want to do it at the market, if they have time, they're welcome to, but it does not have to happen to complete the transaction. And then of course, participants are going home with more fresh, healthy food. Next slide, please. So a bit more on how the farmers are paid. So as I mentioned, there's going to be a website that they'll set up an account, get everything ready so we can pay them by direct deposit. Once they're all set up, they'll go into the portal, they'll do their scanning of their barcode. They can use a camera on a mobile device or tablet, even the webcam on a computer will work. Again, if they don't have that capability, they can just manually enter those vouchers. We will be paying farmers weekly for any vouchers that they enter for the week. They don't have to enter them every week, just depends on how often they want to be paid. So I know a lot of farms, especially if they don't get a lot of these, might save them up for the year and then just enter them all at the end of the season. That's fine. Just again, however often they want to be paid, they just need to make sure they're entered by December 15th, which would be the cutoff for this program season. Next slide. And as far as training, as with our authorization, we at the state will be doing the training with the farmers on that. So we're going to be conducting some live webinars. We'll have some recorded demo videos. We'll have full written instructions on how to do everything. The new information will be part of our new farmer orientations, and we will have this in English and Spanish as well. Markets are more than welcome to attend any of these. I'm sure a lot of you would want to learn more too. We're not requiring it as part of your authorization, but we'll let you know once more information about these come out. We're going to be starting them in the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned for that. Next slide. And that's kind of it as far as the new stuff. A lot of stuff is just staying the same this year. Eligible foods, still the locally grown, fresh fruit, vegetables, cut herbs. Don't allow anything processed or potted. That information is on the front of these new vouchers. And just a quick note on the locally grown, for those of you who might have farmers in bordering states, that counts as local produce for our program as well. Next slide. You're doing great, Amanda. For market authorization, a lot of you have already moved through this process already, so thank you. For returning markets, you should have received your renewal emails sent on April 3rd. They would have come from Smartsheet Automation, Justin Troutman, sent around noon if you need to go back and try to find those. All our returning markets would have received at least 2 emails, depending on how many locations you operate. One email, you'll click through the links in there to update any of your contact information and electronically sign our annual agreement. Another email would be to update any location information. So your season dates, if your closing times have changed, or any of your location details. If you did not receive those emails, if you can't find them, let me know. For any new markets who have not participated before, you can find our application at myoregonfarm.org. There's a side navigation to resources for farms and markets that you can click on and find that application, which is the same one that our farmers use as well. If you are a new market, or if you are a new representative for your market, we do require a one-time 30-minute orientation call. That will be with me, and I'll go ahead and set that up with you after the application's completed. All markets will sign that 1-year agreement, and then we'll be sending everybody your program material packet in the mail in the next couple weeks. We have some new farmers market posters for you this year. Next slide. Benefits to your market being authorized since you're not actually transacting the checks yourself. The biggest being that you're included in our online directory that we market to all of our participants. That will be up live on our site by June 1st. Ultimately, it will bring you more shoppers, more customers. We often hear from our participants that they haven't been to their local farmers market. So having this benefit is something that brings them to the market, and often they return and then can utilize some of the other programs that you're offering. No tracking or reporting for our program since we're not exchanging money with you. It's a really easy program for you to have in your market. You don't need to keep track of any of that. So that's a bonus. And then ultimately supporting your community and farmers, which is, you know, why most of you, I'm guessing, are in this work anyway. This is the English side of our farmers market poster here. We are having dual-sided now, so you'll have English on the front, Spanish on the back, and we'll be sending you a couple of those for each of your locations. Next slide, please. And then just quickly on our farms, their process for becoming authorized is very similar to the markets. They would also have received those renewal emails on April 3rd, and any new markets can find the application on our website. They must be authorized before they can accept the voucher. So just want to point that out. In the top corner here, you'll see our new farmer sign that we'll be sending to all our farms that shows the new voucher on there. And we do have around 700 authorized farms around the state and in bordering counties. And then the final slide here is my contact information. That is my direct phone and my direct email. Feel free to reach out with anything and everything you need. And I'm not sure how we're handling questions. Is that all in the chat?
There's just a question from Bill up in the chat. And I'm scrolling up there. And thanks for addressing the question about Spanish translation.
Mm-hmm.
There was a question in here, and I'm not finding it now.
And another thing on the Spanish I didn't point out, our farmer signs for the first time this year, though we accept the vouchers, we're going to have, again, English on one side of those and Spanish on the other. So, and we'll send them a couple so they could have dual-sided up in their booths as well.
I am finding a question from Ginger, hoping that you can send everyone a picture of the new coupons so that they can show their farmers. A little concerned that they won't recognize them.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah,
Wonderful.
I've had that request. I should send it out to everyone.
And then a new question from Lexi is, will there be assistance or contact we can direct farmers for technology support to set up their accounts with the vouchers?
Yes, we're going to have most questions should still come through us at the state, but certain technical questions in this new payment portal will go through our third-party vendor we're working with, but I'll provide more instruction on that. Great question.
Wonderful. Great. Does anyone else have any questions for Katie while she's on screen?
This is Bill. I sent one direct message to Katie just so she knows.
Okay, I'll look for that. Thanks, Bill.
And then Lonnie, it looks like you have a question as well.
A couple in the chat, but I guess they're not showing up. Hi, Katie. It's so nice to see you.
You too.
Thank you for being you and all your work you do.
You're so sweet. I gotcha.
So my questions are, let's see. Can we have a couple of the accepted here signs sent to the farmers markets for farmers who traditionally forget theirs?
Yes, we get that question all the time, and I wish I could just say yes, but the higher ups have told us they really want us to hold those signs just to give to the authorized farms, just to make sure unauthorized farms don't get them and get them up. One suggestion that we've given to markets is if farmers don't want to track their signs and they want to give them to you as market management to help to give to them each week to put up, something like that. I don't know if you're open to that.
Okay.
We'd be okay with that. I'll ask again though, because I definitely see the benefit of market managers having somebody get up, because I know it's hard to remember or to bring around. They're setting up new each week.
Yeah.
It's hard to get those signs up, and participants really do look for them.
Yeah, because seniors specifically show up at the information booth saying, I don't know where to go. And
Yes.
also then I take a walk around the market, make sure everybody has their sign up, and some people, you know, they just work for that vendor. They don't have those things that got
Right.
mailed to them.
Right. Yeah.
So
Great
we like them. And then the second thing is, do you have any information about how many or what markets double these vouchers? Since we get asked about that every year, and it's a question I have no answer for to people, but some folks who've been to other markets expect a doubling of that voucher. So I'd like to know where they can go to double those.
There are just a few, and it's not something that we oversee, but historically Forest Grove and Cornelius, who they're operated by the same program, they've been matching I saw Cole's on here. I know OHSU did at one point.
We still do.
Yay. Thanks, Nicole.
Up to $8 per day per person.
Thanks.
8 per day. And then there's one in Lane County. It's either Whitaker or Spencer Creek. I don't know if either of you are on here. It's one of those.
Okay.
Does it as well. And that's all that I know of.
Okay, just so if folks want to double them, they can go to one of these. If not, they then regular at everyone else.
That's right. That's
Okay,
right.
thank you.
Mhm.
It looks like your audio might be cut out. Oh, there you are. You're
Thank
muted.
you. Thanks, Rachel. I see Eileen has her hand up, and then after Eileen's question, I think that we'll move on. And then if you guys have continued questions for Katie, feel free to send them directly to Katie after. Thank you.
My question was, you said that seniors, there might be a second mailing. Does that mean mailing of more of the vouchers?
Yeah, it wouldn't be, so it's still just one issuance per senior. So it would be additional new seniors receiving the benefit rather than the same seniors receiving more. Yeah, good clarification.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, thank you, everyone. Great to see all your names and faces.
Thanks so much, Katie. It's wonderful. We're very glad to have you. And then we have Erick next. Everybody knows Erick from ODA, and Erick's going to share with us today too.
Hey, thank you for having me. I appreciate the invite here, and I just have a couple of updates that I wanted to give you, but then I wanted to kind of show you just a real short presentation of some of the work that we're doing that as it relates to new food makers in the state, and as well as farmers sending their product to different co-packers throughout the state. The first thing I wanted to announce was that there was an announcement by USDA, if you haven't heard yet, that there were 12 new regional food business centers that have been awarded. Oregon State University and Colorado State University were the co-recipients of one of the grants, and so they call it the Northwest and Rocky Mountain Regional Food Business Center, and will cover 6 regional states. I don't personally work on that project, but my colleague Amy Gilroy is involved in that, and so you'll see more to come on that. It was quite an award, and it'll be really good for our community food hubs. I also wanted to mention that the Oregon Department of Agriculture is airing some television and social media and digital advertising in the coming months, and we're planning to feature, and this is statewide, we're planning to feature farmers markets coming up here in late May into June. So stay tuned for that. If you see any promotional ads or anything, give me a shout out and let me know that you saw it. But I'm going to go ahead and now share my screen. I know last year I discussed a food and beverage roadmap that we had been developing at the Oregon Department of Agriculture. And this project continues to evolve, and it's now evolved into a recent grant that was awarded, especially the crop block grant that was awarded, to further investigate the need for co-manufacturing in the state and how it helps build the businesses for small food makers. And I also wanted to, I'm gonna co-present this with a lot of you know Hannah Kohlberg. She is the co-founder of Community Co-Pack, and her company has been hired by the Oregon Department of Agriculture to work on this project together. So last year I presented the Oregon Food and Beverage Roadmap. Again, this project has evolved. We're adding a lot of content all the time. I really encourage, if you haven't had a chance to look at it, I'll put it in the chat as soon as I'm finished presenting here, and feel free to check it out. Would love to have more farmers markets on this page. And if you struggle to get it on, just reach out to me. I'll make it happen for you. It's just a few easy questions and some links and some logos, and we'll get you up on the site. The idea is that for companies that are starting up and really looking for resources throughout the state, how can they access resources, whether it's information about farmers markets, whether it's where they can find out how to become safe through the food safety program. Just a lot of information there. All the service providers are a part of this site throughout the state, how to get into retail, you name it. Would love for there to be more farmers market content because really farmers markets are the incubators for these businesses, and a lot of them couldn't do it without starting in farmers markets first. It's really a proof concept for a lot of these companies. So if anybody's interested in contributing any information or content about how to better access farmers markets throughout the state, please reach out to me. I will put my email address in the chat. Since last year, a new piece that we have added is this food and beverage journey roadmap. This is just a kind of a, it's basically a map that's drawn out of like, here's a usual path to success. Now, granted, not all journeys are the same, but it really allows you to take the necessary steps to be a successful business, a food business. And so that's a big part of what we added in the last year. Another big part of what we added, and really it kind of segues into this next grant and this next project we're working on, is we added a Pacific Northwest co-packer locator. Again, a lot of the small companies, once they reach capacity in a commercial kitchen, they really do need to find a local co-packer. Again, another small business that can help pack their food for them so that they can really spend the time to be at the markets, to do activations in retail, to grow their business. And so this list allows companies to search both in Oregon and in Washington currently. We're hoping to add Idaho and other surrounding states of co-packers that are within a drivable amount of time to be a part of packaging their products. I have to say that we are struggling with co-packing currently. We could always use more, and I think I'm probably preaching to the choir when I say that, because I'm sure that a lot of you know and understand that commercial kitchen space and co-manufacturing is really it's really hard to find. So that brings us to our next project that we're working on. And again, I think it's really important to this group to better understand what we're doing, because we'll be surveying a lot of food makers in your regions to really better understand the state of co-packing in Oregon, and where are the gaps, where are the opportunities, and how do we also get our local manufacturing more in contact with our farmers to be using local products. And so I want to hand it over to Hannah and let her sort of talk a little bit more about the project. So thank you.
Hey everyone, I'm Hannah, co-founder of Community Co-Pack, also former FMF and PFM board member as of really recently, and super glad to be a part of this community. We run a flexible run, bespoke, sort of small scale co-packer in the red on salmon. So we're part of Food Hub Network as well. And we work with a diversity of small emerging food businesses, and particularly support BIPOC and women-led businesses in this. And both Chris Bailey and I were small food founders and support emerging entrepreneurs in the ecosystem, and are really always listening for what are those gaps, what are those barriers, how can we make this process of building a good food system together, right, more easeful, or less hard. So next slide, Eric. And that's where really my origin started and why I'm passionate about processing is I was the co-founder of Better Bean Company with my dad, and we started in Portland area farmers market, Beaverton and Hollywood, like Oswego, Montevilla, and really, grew and cultivated our businesses in the farmers markets with these customers that we'd work with directly and talk to. But our story is one of, honestly, a lot of privilege. My dad, a baby boomer, white male, was able to raise capital from his brothers and tech friends. And so we had the story of not being able to find a co-packer, and really what that means is you end up running manufacturing and you're running the sales, marketing, branding, all of the other things around your business. And but we had a lot of privilege in that we could hire people, and we could also build out this facility that you see a picture of there, but not all of our businesses do, right? I mean, it's so freaking expensive to build out a facility. It's really expensive just to buy that one piece of equipment that will allow you to scale. And when we're thinking about these amazing change makers that want to build a better food systems, I think of Lola from Umi Organics, right? She needed access to particular processing equipment to make her noodles that are made with Oregon-grown wheat. Right? That wouldn't have been able to be done without a co-packing relationship. And so understanding, where we're at in the state now is really, really important to me. And I'm so grateful to work with Erick on it. So you can do the next slide. I guess I'm really going to kind of throw in something different, but I'm feeling actually pretty emotional today because I don't know if you guys can see my little screen, but we lost Paul Fuller, the founder of Sweet Creek Organics. He has been doing community processing for farmers for years. I had the pleasure of visiting his facility. He just sold it to Azure, and I grabbed like all these labels of all these farms he had worked with over the years. Wintergreen, Bella, gathering together, helping them process tomatoes and, sort of the greener blueberries that weren't good for sale, excess crop. And he started with the mission of, yes, doing a community supported processing. That's what he said. He's like, we have CSAs, why not community supporting processing? And since he sold his business, we've heard from several farmers that don't know where to get their jams or butters processed anymore. And I'm really eager to connect with all of you of what you're seeing in the market, what you're learning from, who needs support in processing, seconds, other things like that. I am a huge fan of the Farm Direct laws and program, and how that supports farmers to really get to scale with a product that they might be making. But I also hear from a lot of them that after many years of farming, they're just sort of burnt out on also processing the stuff that can't go to market or comes back from market. And so how do we build, as Erick said, more of those connections to both local makers, right, which is technically co-packing, or they're, processing it into their product, like Hot Mama Salsa does with her salsas on a weekly basis. She works with farmers, gets them in products. That's what one of our clients, Sebejo, does. She works with regional farmers and gets them into her products that then go out to retailers and beyond. But also to possibly process their own product to extend their season, to give them a diversity of income, et cetera, et cetera. And so through this project, we're really hoping to write a report, get an assessment. We're going to launch a survey shortly to really learn about what's on the ground happening for people, what are barriers, what's the reality, and report that back out so that we as service providers and people who care about a healthy, resilient regional food system can take action for change around that, and particularly around processing, because that's again where we're working. I mean, there's so many nodes of a good food system, but processing. So I, want to share some of the things we're already learning at Community Co-Pack, since we've launched, which is just in the last 2 years. We've talked to over 200 entrepreneurs and farmers, and we're finding that there's a lack of capacity, right? So a lot of co-packers, like I mentioned, Sweet Creek's shut down. There's other co-packers that have shut down or left the state. There are people that are trying to grow and figure out right-sized commercial kitchen space that is they're having a hard time finding as well. And then there's the access to onboarding in general and sort of that costs of growth that we're looking at. And so how do we support everyone and again, making that all that much more easeful. So really, Erick's going to share his contact information. Please, if you're hearing anything and want to connect anyone to Erick or I, and I'm, in good connection with Erick, please do that. Okay, next slide, Erick. So yeah, this is an example of a past survey that Erick ran and kind of what we're again moving into. So I've spoke to this a little bit already, but really seeing community co-packing, right? There's really mega huge co-packers out there. And I think even like the food banks that we've been talking to and the people that are in that stream, they're saying, oh, it's hard to get line time on co-packers. So the need is for these smaller processors at below 2,000 units. That's what Community Co-Pack starting. Hopefully Bohemia Food Hub down in Cottage Grove is starting one of those. Maybe we'll see something at the Astoria Food Hub. So finding developing processing across the state for serving entrepreneurs and farmers alike and building a good, resilient food system. So that's it from me. Thanks for the time. Appreciate it, all of you and all of the work that you do.
Yeah, and I want to thank everybody for allowing us this time. And if there are any questions, please, just put it in the chat. But also, I just wanted to let you know that the timing is really good. Some of you may know that most recently there was a group out of San Francisco called the Good Food Foundation. They just recently selected Oregon as being a home for them to do not only their award ceremonies, but also trade show. And the great thing about this trade show is it really is sort of the next step for food makers that are, maybe they're selling in their farmer's market. Maybe they're selling into some of the local grocers like Market of Choice, New Seasons, and others like that. It's really sort of the next step for them for access at this show to maybe sell a little more regionally, like in Seattle or maybe San Francisco. So the timing is so good to help build that back end for co-manufacturing. Inflation isn't helping us, obviously, with costs, supply chain costs, but I feel like our small makers are resilient and they're making it happen, just like farmers markets are making it happen. We can't forget about that, and we have to continue to make sure that they are in front and that consumers are looking to their local producers first. So that's part of my job. It's a big job, and you can't do it without y'all's help. So thank you so much for having us. And please, I'll put my contact information. If you want to reach out to me directly, please do. But thank you so much for having us, and we'll see you soon.
Wonderful. Thank you both so much. And I love having this time to share, and just, it reminds me how connected the food community in Oregon is and how we can all really work together to just strengthen our small farms here. And we are going to transition back to Madeline. Found power. There's a lot of power outages in Portland, y'all. It's fun timing. So Madeline's going to transition back to sharing slides, and we're going to hope that her coffee shop power holds out for this. And in the meantime, Rachel, I don't want to put you on the spot, but Mallory was going to be here to talk about Double Up Food Bucks today. She couldn't be here, but I do know that there's a little action alert for Farmers Market Fund. Rachel, if you want to take a minute to share with folks.
Yes, yeah, I'm happy to. Thanks. And I will throw something in the chat too, but sorry that Mallory couldn't be here to talk about Farmers Market Fund. So I will take off my OFMA hat and put on my Farmers Market Fund hat and just say thank you to everybody in the room that is running Double Up Food Bucks. We are at 88 markets this year. So slowly creeping up there towards all 120 and really excited to have some new partners. I don't have the beautiful visual map, but you can go to the Double Up website and see all of the partners across the state. From a legislative advocacy standpoint, thank you to everybody who has given testimony to the bill, which is House Bill 2728, to support funding Double Up Food Bucks. We do have one more day left to submit testimony to the Ways and Means Committee to make sure that they don't forget about us as they're creating the state budget. So I will put the link in there of how you can submit testimony as well as a template if you haven't already done it. And for those of you that signed up to speak at some of the road shows and didn't get a chance to, I apologize that a lot of you traveled like long distances and that process is not very equitable or inclusive, I will say. So if you haven't already taken what you're going to say and submitted it as written testimony, we would greatly appreciate that. And like I said, that is open through, I believe, through tomorrow afternoon still. So thank you all and good luck as you ramp up your seasons for the summer.
Yay. Thanks, Rachel. And I'm going to put my FMF board member hat on and just reiterate what Rachel said. If you haven't had a chance to submit testimony, I would love for folks to take a few minutes after the meeting today. It's really fast. There's great templates. It's much more approachable than you think it's going to be. And it makes such a difference. I don't know the numbers behind it, but it has a really large financial impact submitting testimony. You know, as nonprofits, we don't have a lot of funding or no funding for lobbying. And so this is our way to really make sure that folks know about all the great work that we're doing and getting people fresh, healthy food. And it is really quick and easy, a great way to use your voice in the community. So I'll just put my FMF board plug there. And then we're going to get back to OFMA and have Madeline and Amanda share program and communications updates. They've got a lot to share with you all. And so hopefully the slides go smoothly, and we really thank everyone for bearing with us. Thank you.
Hi, yes. Hi, everyone. Yeah, I'm Madeline, like Ashley said, Madeline and I are going to go next. I'm going to share some information about the census and some of the other surveys we've been doing recently, and then also a little bit about the Farmers Market Learning Network. Trying to move fast, going right into the census, or basically we've had an abundance of survey collecting this past winter from OFMA's own census of markets across the state. Plus we had a partnership with UC Davis that allowed us to do our first ever surveys of farmers market customers and vendors. And we are still analyzing all of this. And we look forward to presenting full reports on that back to you later this year. But here's a little bit of a sneak peek at the census and the customer surveys. So yeah, starting with the census, collected info in the fall and winter. 88 markets responded. That is our highest number of responses ever. Thank you all for responding. The information is just so much better the more of you that respond. And so yes, thank you. Anyway, what we found out so far, how many markets are there? There's 107 market organizations in Oregon running in 127 locations. I'm still tracking down some markets that didn't respond and that we've heard may exist in certain places. So that number, when we do the final report, that number may go up a little bit. Next, number of vendors. Responding markets to our census told us about 5,000 businesses who vended at markets at least once in 2022. Obviously, there's some double counting there in that like vendors are at some of the same markets. And we don't have all the info from our non-responding markets yet. But what's good to see this year, especially as we're still recovering from the last few years, is that 83% of the markets said that vendor numbers stayed the same or increased in 2022 compared to 2021. And only a few of you said that your vendor numbers decreased. Looking at sales, adding up the totals that we got sales figures from markets, we're currently at about 40 million in sales for 2022. That would be the minimum estimate for now. We're still going to try to add in estimates from the non-responding markets based on guesses of how many vendors we think they have. And then looking at customers, we guessed that we're at 3.2 million visits in 2022. But again, I think that'll go up a little bit once I add in some more details from the non-responding markets. Another little tidbit from the census that I wanted to show you was that 56% of farmers markets have organizational budgets of less than $50,000. And of the respondents, most get more than half of their budget funded by vendor fees. So markets out there are very dependent on vendor fees and don't have many other funding sources, and you're doing a lot of work with very small budgets. It's impressive what people are doing with $50,000. And anyway, want more data? Our full census finding report will include things about totals of SNAP sales, pay rates for market staff, demographic info, and your responses on the kinds of networking and support that you're looking for, along with the challenges and successes that you experienced last year. And then I wanted to go into a little bit of info about the customer survey that we did. So at the start of the year, OFMA helped facilitate a survey research project carried out by Gwyneth Manzer, who's a PhD candidate from the University of California, Davis. The project was for her dissertation and consisted of a short online survey for market customers with a goal of understanding customer behavior and preferences. So Gwyneth is still analyzing these results and a bit away from making full conclusions, but she shared with us some early pieces of information that we wanted to pass on. The survey got distributed to customers through farmers markets, OFMA's social media, and via Travel Out Oregon, and we had about 1,500 customers complete it. So you can see here the percentages of customers attending on a weekly, monthly, yearly frequency. And what I found interesting to note from what Gwyneth said is that however many times they shop, most farmers market customers, so 74% of them, considered themselves to be regular farmers market customers. So I think that would be an interesting thing to go into of, like, I don't think we really have a definition of what a regular farmers market customer is. I think this is an important thing to know if you're talking to your customers about their regularity. And I think we're often trying to tell people, come more, come more. It might be good to know that somebody who comes several times a year already thinks of themselves as a regular farmers market shopper. Anyway, we can get into that more later when we talk about when we get the full report. Anyway, participants were also asked how they find out information about the farmers markets, which they shop regularly. Facebook, farmers market websites, word of mouth, Instagram were the most popular. And when we asked what factors determine the market they want to go to, convenience of market time and location, product diversity, and product quality were the main reasons. Let's see, we asked them to rank how frequently they purchase different types of items at the farmers market. And what came out was that produce, baked goods, and ready-to-eat foods were the items they most frequently purchased. CBD, alcohol, and wellness items were the least frequently purchased. And finally, we asked participants if they typically have conversations with vendors or ask them questions while shopping. This is a thing we talk about as being an important part of being in farmers markets. And those that reported yes or sometimes were asked what types of conversations they have with vendors. And their answers to this really varied, but responses generally fell into one or two categories: questions about the vendors' products and practices, and questions about the vendors themselves, like how they're doing and how their season is going. So that's just a taste of the customer survey. More to come later will include things like customers' motivations for shopping at farmers markets, as well as their values respect to farmers markets, what they think is the difference between a farmers market and a grocery store, and also how customers define what local refers to. And I want to say we just wrapped up this vendor survey this week. And we got about 300 responses to that from vendors. And so we're looking forward to reporting about that to you later this summer as well. Going into, so let me just see if there were questions in the chat. Okay. Going into like an update on OFMA's own other programming, I wanted to talk about the Farmers Market Learning Network. This is the 3-year program that started at the end of 2021. It's currently OFMA's main program and is funded by our FMPP grant from the USDA and the Ford Family Foundation. And this project has a couple of different pieces to it. There's the learning and networking community for all markets in Oregon. Last year we offered up 12 workshops with experts on specific subjects, and we had 9 peer meetups for all of you to talk with each other and share your expertise. And we saw about 500 combined registrations for all of those events. Topics followed the 4 main topics of the Farmers Market Learning Network, and the peer meetups were driven by what you market managers wanted to chat about. And 2023 schedule is now posted on our website, and we have workshops happening every month. We have peer meetings happen every month. We hope you can join us for those. The other thing that's a big part of the Farmers Market Learning Network is that we have 9 markets that are part of a research cohort. They're in Albany, Baker City, Lane County, the Dalles, Umpqua Valley in Roseburg, South Valley in Cottage Grove, and the Come Through, Montavilla, and Woodlawn Farmers Markets in Portland. They're all collecting vendor sales and crowd count data, and we're going to use that to see how their sales increase, hopefully, over these 3 years of the project, and try to figure out why and see if part of it is this like increased support and capacity that happened for farmers markets, so that we can ask for more of that support and capacity for farmers markets to spread it around more in the state. And one thing with the cohort that we're doing this year is that we hope will help their markets is we've been pairing each of them up with a consultant of their choice to help them get over a small hurdle that their market is having. We gave them all about $2,000 to work with a consultant to help them answer a question that they need answered. Things like how to, like applying to be a 501c3, more advanced marketing plans, succession planning, board roles and recruitment. And at the end of this year and working on that, part of what they have to do is share back to markets across the state what they learned and share any of the tools they have so that other markets don't have to reinvent the same things around that. And then the other program thing that we have been doing, we do a lot of SNAP technical assistance. So again, just the call out, if you're having trouble with your SNAP programs, especially with regards to equipment, please get in touch with me. I have lots of contacts and advice and ideas and ways to help you get through that. I am getting a lot of questions right now. A great example is like online markets getting their FNS authorizations, and how to handle updating your market's location with FNS. These things can get complicated, and I'm here to help if you have trouble with those things. And then we also have a program started last year by Ashley to help markets with bookkeeping best practices so that they'll be able to better participate in double up food bucks. and meet its tracking and accounting requirements. Megan from Freedom to Frenzy has been meeting with these markets all year and developing tracking spreadsheets and protocols and bookkeeping plans that, again, we are looking forward to sharing out statewide so you all can benefit on those. Oh yeah, so now I'm gonna turn it over to Madeline.
Real quickly, Amanda, I see a couple questions in the chat. Can you revisit how the census will be shared with everyone when it's done?
Sure, we are going to, we'll have a workshop like this where we go through everything. And also this year, we're going to try to get it into more of like a written report that we'll send out to you and put on the website. But we'll definitely have a workshop where Dr. Mallory Ray, who does a lot of our research analysis, will be there to like go through these things with you.
Thanks.
Okay, can you all hear me?
Yep.
Wonderful. Okay. Of all of the tech problems that I could have anticipated happening today, the power going out for my entire neighborhood was not one of them. So I really appreciate you all bearing with that. Hopefully, I'm sure they all took care of that transition while I cut out. And I am coming to you live from my car outside of a coffee shop. So hopefully you can hear me and see everything just fine. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about communications and a little bit about how I want to be communicating more effectively to you all moving forward. So first and foremost, I wanted to plug our wonderful website. I would never ever discourage any of you from contacting any of us directly, but oftentimes resources or questions that you might be looking for answers to can be found on our website. Save yourself some time, peruse through our massive hub of resources. We also have almost all of our past workshop recordings categorized on our website by subject so that you can find pertinent past workshops and also the attached workshop handouts, which can be really great resources for looking to answer specific questions. And we are working on updating, I'm working on updating the website to make it more searchable moving forward because it can be a little bit difficult to navigate, but it's a great place to go to find resources. I also wanted to plug our monthly peer learning circles, and it was really awesome to see y'all just kind of jump in and use this space. Like that is exactly what our peer learning circles are. And it's been the past couple ones I feel have been even more engaging. Like I've been with OFMA for a little over a year now, and lately they've been really awesome. And I would love to encourage more of you to show up and join and engage. They're only as good as the people who show up to them. So thank you to those of you who regularly show up and actively participate. It's a space where you are allowed to show up with whatever you want. Usually people come with specific questions, topics going on, issues they might be having with their market. And it's a great way to crowdsource information from the best people to get answers from, which is each other. You know, running a farmer's market is such a specific skill set, and oftentimes the best answers to your questions are going to come from other people who do the exact same job. And I think if we're running really late, but if we have time, we might be doing one after this. So, and I will be dropping links to register to that in the email that I send out after this meeting. I'm not going to do it in the chat because it just gets lost, but in the follow-up email, you will get a link to register for this if you're not connected with us. In the past week, a myriad of channels, and I did a question in our survey we did to market last year, asked you all, what are the channels you are checking most off? And I kind of overhaul and we're re-strategizing around that. So I wanted to let you know that if you are looking for the most up-to-date OFMA information, it will be coming to you via our market manager listserv. So you will see little newsletters come out to you from our info at Oregon Farmers Market account. And it's like a MailChimp, really nicely formatted email with our logo at the top. And if you aren't on that, you should be, but if you're not, all those updates will also be sent out to the ORFM listserv. And those are going to be the two main ways that we are going to be communicating out to you, our market manager audience. So if for whatever reason you are not already on those will be sent out, or
you'll be able to register for those via links I send out in that email as well. And then another great way to stay in touch with us is via social media, but I would not rely on that to be a way to get the information that you might need as a market manager. That's a little bit more of a public facing platform. We post goofier stuff on there too. Not necessarily the most informative platform, but it's a great way to stay connected. And if you ever want to share stuff broadly with our audience, just tag me, and I almost always will just directly share whatever we get tagged in to our account as well. So don't be shy about that. Tag me whenever. I log in a couple times a week and I will just share that for you. And like I said, all of those links will be going out in the email after this. Now you might be wondering, Madeline, you send a lot of emails. What else do you do for OFMA? Well, I wanted to talk a little bit more about what I do in the communications role at OFMA for you. So just right here, I have a couple of screenshots of things I've been working on over the past year. So I'm sure all of you are familiar with our Find an In-Person Market page on our website. That is all me. Every year when we get our membership re-registrations, I go in and I make all those edits. So if this is a great opportunity for me to tell you, you should go on that website. On our website, you should click on your market. You should make sure all the information is accurate, up to date there. I try my absolute hardest, but it is inevitable that there will be mistakes that I make when updating it. So you can contact me directly if there's anything on there that needs to be edited. But I work really hard every year. It takes several weeks for me to get it done. It is done this year, and I'm really proud of it. And it's a really exciting resource that we have that we also pay to promote. So we've spent a lot of advertising money over the past year to push this out to as many people as possible. And we get tens of thousands of visitors to this website every year. So really amazing resource that I'm really proud of and I work really hard on and want to make sure that it's as up to date as possible. Along that same line with advertising, on the right-hand side of the screen, you can see these are some infographics that we've been paying to promote via social media. So we've been promoting a lot of our Double Up Food Bucks markets. We think that's such an amazing program, and we want to make sure that folks are aware of which markets they can go to redeem those benefits. So on our in-person market map, you can filter by which markets accept Double Up Food Bucks, and then we link that map in these ads that we are pushing right now on social media. And we also are experimenting with radio ads. So we're currently running radio ads in certain regions with high percentages of markets that accept Double Up Food Bucks, in the hopes that that might reach a certain demographic that social media might not. And then at the bottom right-hand corner, you can see we were promoting our winter markets. That was something we heard from markets last year, was we need more consumer awareness that there are markets that are open in the winter. So we were running a winter market campaign. We actually created a whole other version of our market map for winter markets specifically. And again, if you run a winter market that you want advertised specifically as a winter market and you don't see it on our winter market map, reach out to me directly. I'd be happy to make that profile for you. And then below the market map, there's some screenshots of a little campaign we ran during Farmers Market Week last year, busting some popular farmers market myths. And I was really proud of how these did. We got hundreds of shares off of these and got some really great engagement with the public about, discourse around farmers markets and maybe some misconceptions people have. Maybe some of them are a little more accurate than others. And it was really awesome to see people engage with that topic. So this is just a little taste of all the other things I do besides bugging you with thousands of emails every year. And that is it from me. I'm going to hand it back over to you, Ashley.
Yeah, thanks, Madeline. So much work. And again, with the market map, that is our main huge benefit that you need to be a paid member to be a part of. And I think that we see a lot of questions, why am I not on this map? And that's when folks find out that maybe they overlooked their membership this year. So definitely take a peek at the market map. It does get a ton of visits, and moving forward in the year, we are going to be putting even more resources to promoting this map. And we're working with great partners to also make sure that they're sharing the map as well. And it just, our goal is that people are going to more markets more often. And so your help with making sure that it's accurate, your hours are accurate, your food assistant programs are accurate, times, all of that, really helpful and helps us all out. Yeah. And we were going to do a quick little peer learning circle exercise. We're out of time, but I feel like we started really organically in the start of the meeting with a perfect example of what goes on during peer learning circles. You bring your questions and you crowdsource those solutions. You get information from other markets. You're able to see what folks are already doing, what's been tested, what's been proven, and they're just really great resources that are free to everyone, open to everyone, whether you're a member or not. You can send your board members, and we just really hope that folks get engaged that way. And we thank you everybody for being here and for sticking with us during our tech problems here. If you have any questions, we are here always. Email, phone, Instagram, any way you want to reach us, we're available. So just hit us up with questions. And thank you all so much. We really appreciate you being here today. Thank you. I do see a quick question about how to update that. You can update that with Madeline. If you have updates for the map, go straight to Madeline and her email will come following up the email as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everybody. So good to see you.